Welcome to Florida Mint on Florida Man with Greg, Wayne, Josh, and Cameron. The podcast where Floridians discuss the legends, lore, and crazy stories that always seem to take place in Florida. What's going on, everybody?
What's up?
Nothing. Special shout out
Go for it.
to Mason.
Mason, what's up, my man?
One of our favorite listeners, probably.
Right,
If
yeah.
we had a top 10,
Right, he's in there.
he's in there easily.
He listens every week. You're the best, Mason. It's episode 96.
Episode 96.
This is a big one.
How'd we get here, fellas?
I'm not sure.
95 failures.
We just keep coming
Seems
back.
like it, yeah.
I know.
Are you guys baths? I've been meaning to ask you.
Yeah.
Are
in
we
these
baths?
95 baths or showered fellas? Because the times that I burst in your house, you're never in either position.
Why is
Right.
that the first place you check?
I don't know. It's just
He does. He jerks the shower curtain down.
like, who's in there?
He's like, where you at?
I'm definitely a shower guy.
Out every time?
Yeah,
like not
every-
once a week you
Absolutely.
do a bath?
Every time shower. Every
time
day.
shower.
Same. I'm a shower guy
Do you
every
ever
day.
plug up the shower and let it fill up a little bit?
Like a little baby bath?
Yeah.
Like a bath for your ankles.
No.
Yeah. You either?
I'm a shower guy. How about you?
Oh, thanks for asking. I'm a both.
Okay.
I do a shower in the morning
Yeah.
and then what I call a booble bath
Uh-huh.
where I play Michael Booble.
That's what the queens do, bro.
I'm a
Bathing
queen,
twice
bro.
a day.
I'm a big queen.
Freaking clear.
and this
Cleopatra.
And then I put Mr. Booble.
Right.
Yeah.
So then it's just me and the boobles.
I mean,
I
it sounds
love
relaxing.
it.
Yeah, it is relaxing.
If you're
should
tuning
join
in
me.
for the very first time, the outline of our show is actually we kind of hang out with you guys for a bit in the beginning, and then we move into headlines.
Right, with me.
What's
Cameron.
covered by Cameron, that's his voice. And then we go into the icebreaker section, which is kind of like a get to know the host, and that's Josh. And then there's
Hey.
like stories there and everything. And then we move into like a historic kind of
yeah. The
kind of
best
classic
part.
story from Florida.
And that is
That's me, that's Wayne. And I think it feels like headlines right now.
definitely feels like
It feels
feeling.
like it.
Yeah. Okay, headline.
Hey.
okay,
Cameron.
headlines.
All right, so we have a Florida man
Okay.
from Jacksonville.
Come on.
Okay.
Okay, that was arrested for repeatedly stealing his neighbor's underwear
Okay.
from their garage.
That's where he stores his underwear.
I was going to say clothesline.
They don't belong to him. Yeah, he's stealing them from the neighbor's garage.
Okay.
And I'm guessing
Out of the dryer.
it's like, the washer and dryer are
Yeah.
inside the garage.
Right.
All right. So
Gotcha.
here's the deal. When you wash and dry clothes,
Right.
you don't want to steam up that garage. So you
Right.
crack it open.
Yeah.
Right.
But you crack it open just enough for some sly undie sleuth
To come on in there
to get under there. Yeah.
and take him out.
And who doesn't like to put warm undies on? Amen.
Exactly.
Amen.
So
That's when they're nice and taut.
Right.
56-year-old Nicholas Rojas
Oh,
was caught
Rojas.
entering this woman's garage.
oh, it's a lady.
It is a lady's
Okay.
as
I
the
wasn't
victim.
picturing that.
Okay. And this 56-year-old man was going into her garage,
Yeah.
stealing her underwear. And by the third time that this happened,
Yeah.
she was over it.
Well, you start to notice.
Yes.
It's a trend.
Yeah, right. You have one set of underwear per
Day.
per day, per week.
Yep.
And she didn't have any.
She's
for
like,
3
"Where's my
days."
Mondays?
I know.
Exactly. So
These are Tuesdays."
she went into the garage. When she saw him come into her garage, she opened the door from the house, which is
With a
pretty
sniper
impressive,
rifle.
to confront him.
Jeez.
And basically was like, hello, what are you doing in here? And the guy, I don't know how he came up with this response so
Tell
quickly,
us.
but he's like, oh, yeah, I was wondering if you had any lemons I could borrow.
Lemons. Yeah, that is a good excuse.
That's like a quick, random response, like to ask for.
well, whenever
Right.
you're going to commit a crime, you always think, what's my excuse if I get caught?
Exactly. I
Sure.
was looking for lemons.
Lemons.
Right.
You know what she had on those undies that day?
Lemons.
Lemons.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So, anyways, she told him she did not have any lemons, and he left. But he went back to his house,
Huh?
and she followed him. She
Whoa.
went and like confronted him at his house and said, "Listen, I know what you're doing. I want him back." And
Do you want them back at this
No,
point?
Lord, no.
he refused to give him back.
Oh, God. bless.
And at this point, she decided to go home. she told her husband, which
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
if there's a husband involved, why didn't he know already before you like went to this guy's house?
She wants to make sure it's really happening.
Exactly. So you don't want to like accuse a neighbor of
don't.
stealing stuff and then like your dryer ate him.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
When she went to confront him at her house,
Yes.
she thought that he was armed. Okay, so
What?
she kind of got out of there. So when she called the police, or her husband called the police, they did let them know, okay, he might be armed. So when they went to confront him at his house, the police,
Killed him.
they like surrounded the house, used a loudspeaker to order him out of the house.
Okay.
And so Mr. Rojas's son came out and was like, listen, he doesn't have any weapons, but he is passed out drunk. So
Goodness gracious.
he did end up getting him to come outside, and he was arrested and charged with burglary.
It sounds like a crime you'd commit drunk, though.
Right. Stay in your own garage. Don't go to other
But I
people's
wonder
garage.
how often it happened before she realized someone was taking it. Because if I lose something in the dryer, I just count it as lost. Like
Right.
if a pair of underwear go missing, I'm like, oh, well, I must have misplaced them.
Yeah, I've
Someone
got like
could
7
have-
socks that don't have partners.
Yeah, someone could have been stealing my underwear for the last 10 years. I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, if it's like a pair or two, you just assume you lost them somewhere.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how. I think she literally saw him coming in that third time into the garage and maybe put it
Right.
together. But
Yeah. Well, the ninja roll under is very suspicious.
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stay in Jacksonville for this next story.
Come on.
Right.
This one though happened about 3 years ago when Hurricane Irma happened, where two guys, Blake Lee Waller and Victor Walter, they were found and faced a charge of grand theft after witnesses saw them driving around in an SUV with an electric pole strapped to the top of this SUV.
Okay.
So
it's
picture
a power pole.
It's like a
Power pole.
just like a mid-size, smaller SUV,
Yes. Yeah.
and they have like a 35-foot.
Okay. Is it strapped
power
vertically?
pole.
Hopefully it's not strapped
It is not.
vertically.
No, it is strapped like long ways.
A Christmas tree.
Exactly.
Oh,
but
Christmas
it's
tree.
hanging off like 20 feet off the back of the car.
You gotta. I think it's suspicious because you go, that's probably not theirs, right?
Exactly. Well, a hurricane just happened. There's debris all over the place.
Right.
Okay.
And so they get caught moving this
A
like
power
35
pole. Yeah.
power pole.
That's a lot of metal.
Which,
I've
what are you
taken down
gonna-
a power pole before.
You
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. I was driving. It was slick outside. I had lost control.
Oh,
done
geez.
some donuts.
What?
Yeah, knocked it out with my Mitsubishi Galant. Rest in peace.
And you put it on top of your Galant and drove away.
You have to take the evidence.
I dragged it behind me for a while.
Right.
So police confronted them, and they're like, "Oh no, we're just trying to help out and move this off of the road."
How far are you moving? it
Exactly.
off of the
So
road?
they looked up a pawn shop database, and that revealed that they had like sold dozens of pieces of scrap metal that year, and like within those months.
So they were scrappers.
They were scrappers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like to take an entire metal power pole is just like insane.
That's absolutely
brazen.
insane.
Yeah.
That's
like
brazen.
Yeah.
if it doesn't fit in like a truck or like in like a trailer, I'm not going to move it.
Yeah.
But to like, I would never even think maybe I could strap this on top.
They must be
of,
really
like, an
strong
SUV.
to pick it up and put
Oh,
it
well,
up
the one
there.
I hit was hollow.
I think they are
Ah.
hollow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I cleaned that thing like
Yeah.
silver. Yeah. And brazen actually was a better joke than y'all reacted.
I hope they
because
don't come back to find you for that.
No, it was out of the range.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not during Irma.
All right. So our next story is about this whole virtual teaching that's happening right now.
Right.
Virtual
Okay.
everything, guys.
So-
Can you guys tell?
Right.
I've been really.
I can tell. we haven't seen you ever. So the virtual teaching that's going on, a lot of the times teachers are teaching their entire classrooms or a portion of their classrooms on Zoom.
Right.
You have all these students that have to log into Zoom at a certain time. So you
Right.
might have, 10, 15, 20 kids looking back at you as a teacher on Zoom. Well, over in Boca Raton, they have some problems with this system that they took to the board meeting.
Okay.
And so they're complaining about the parents of the students,
Okay.
not the students
Okay.
themselves. Okay. And so this is
So
a
the
quote.
kids are behaving themselves.
Right. This is a quote from one of the teachers at Boca Raton Elementary School. It says, "Parents, please make sure that you have on proper clothing. when you are walking behind your child's computer, because
Okay.
we've seen them in their drawers, their bras, and everything else.
Oof.
They are also talking about parents when you are helping your children at their computer.
Oh, yeah.
Please do not appear with big joints in your hand and cigarettes. Some of
Okay.
these joints are as big as cigars.
Oh, not like
Goodness
PVC
gracious.
joints.
Right.
Oh, I was picturing like someone working on plumbing, and then the son's like, "I need some help on this math," and they bring the PVC plumbing over.
He's talking about marijuana cigarettes.
Marijuana.
See, it's
Yeah.
so far out of my brain.
I know.
I'm not
So
even
the
thinking
thing
about
what they're saying that they've like seen all kinds of crazy stuff, which
Yeah.
okay, that might be the environment that your child is
Yeah.
used to, but you have 20 other kids staring back and can see everybody's
Right.
screen.
That's
right?
a problem
And so they were
Nobody
saying
wants to see a dad nip. if we're
Exactly.
honest.
when you're trying to learn.
they were saying they had a father, no shirt, drinking a beer at 11:45 in the morning. They had a parent who was sitting on the couch, and they could see the ankle monitor sticking out from their leg.
Yikers.
Which, everybody's dealing with something.
Sure.
right?
Sure.
I don't
Thank
think
you.
that's what they're not trying to say. Hey, you
Why do you
shouldn't
think
have been
Cam's-
arrested 3 years ago.
Why do you think Cam's wearing pants right now?
Exactly.
Right.
For our live stream.
Right.
Nobody wants to stare at your double ankle monitor.
Right. Exactly.
So they're just concerned that these students are seeing too much, which
young age.
it's something that they probably didn't think about. Right,
No,
like going
I
into
could see
this, that wasn't
yeah.
their main concern.
Yeah.
But they're also concerned because all of these class videos are recorded and then put up
Oh no!
so that you can watch them later and
Right.
you watch the lesson and all this kind
you
of
can
stuff.
watch what the kids are doing too.
I mean, they're sitting there.
Oofa.
So was this at a city council meeting?
It's a school board meeting.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Is there nothing else going on in that city? Like, that's what they got to do?
No, I mean that's what they're there for. I mean, school board. So
this guy
Sounds like an
Mr.
email.
Politics.
it
here.
does. Yeah. I mean,
just send an
not
email out.
not if it went non-responded to.
I guess it's
exactly.
true.
Then you take it to their face.
That's probably what happened.
this guy.
All right. So our next headline, we
Yeah.
have police are searching for a Florida man
Okay.
Always.
accused of stealing cat blood.
Excuse me?
I think. Is that real? That's the real headline.
Cat blood?
Yes.
Cat blood.
Okay.
Is it?
All right. So in
For
St.
witchcraft.
St. Augustine, Florida.
Okay.
Okay. There is this cat clinic, Anastasia Cat Clinic.
Right. I've heard of
Sounds
it.
Nice.
And so they have security footage of this guy that has a backpack on and riding a skateboard. He comes up and walks into the door, breaks into this clinic. Okay. And he's looking at this blood box, Antec blood box before he walks out, which I'm trying to imagine. I think it's like a metal cabinet type thing.
Yeah,
Right.
refrigerated though, right?
I would
'Cause you
think
have
so,
to
yes.
Refrigerate cat's blood.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Cats especially.
Right.
Okay, yeah, not dog blood. Dog blood's warm blooded.
Boiling hot.
Cat blood is cold blooded.
Right.
I knew I had it.
So they're looking at the surveillance video and they notice that the guy walks off, but then like 20 minutes later he comes back with like a truck and he's looking at this blood box, but then he ends up taking the entire blood box. And there's like
They don't bolt
four
the blood box
I guess
down?
not. They've probably never thought. I wonder if anybody would try to steal this cat blood.
Right.
That's
But
probably
there's like
true.
4 vials of cat blood in it,
Oh.
which I don't know what you would even logically want that for. Like, I don't know if the thought is maybe like the cabinet itself or the refrigerator itself is worth something, which they're saying like altogether it's like a $600 loss, which isn't enough to deal with cat blood for me at all.
Yeah, and I don't know why I'm getting so gaggy.
Right.
Why my first thought is like I would have to eat the cat blood.
No,
Because I think you assume if someone's crazy enough to steal it, they're up to no good.
Yeah, something
and they're
weird.
probably some kind of like.
You think it's a cat blood milkshake?
Remember,
I'm
in,
hoping that the guy didn't know maybe what was in it and just was trying to steal like something and make some
Red.
money. But
well,
I
you
don't
guys know me. I'm a huge Twilight fan.
You're a big Twilight fan. I
And
wouldn't say huge.
In the Twilight
you don't have
novels,
any like Team Edward shirts.
I used to.
Yeah,
I outgrew
they're in
them.
storage.
But they drank animal blood because they don't want to kill humans. So I
Gross.
wonder if this guy is just a
Wow.
polite vampire.
That's
Okay,
possible.
That makes
is
sense.
possible.
He's a polite vampire.
He's either a polite vampire or a pervert.
Okay.
I mean, those are our two
guess-
options.
I mean, maybe his cat is wounded
yes.
and he needs to
Transfusion.
give him
Yeah.
a transfusion.
He's losing a lot of blood.
You know what? I feel
Exactly.
bad. I feel bad now. I like the guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
I like
can't-
the guy.
You think a
can't
guy on a
afford to bring him in.
skateboard has the talent to do a blood transfusion on a cat?
Maybe.
We don't know his background.
Okay, sorry. I'm sure there are some veterinarians that ride a skateboard.
Right.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Well, but a veterinarian could afford to do it in the vet.
That's true.
Okay, ex-veterinarian.
We don't know the
We don't know
story.
the story.
But if you see anybody with cat blood,
Oh, God
turn him in.
bless.
Yeah, on a skateboard.
All right, so next one.
Yes.
Okay.
please.
All right, so we have man, this is a kind of nasty one too. Florida woman arrested after peeing, spitting, and
Oh,
picking
my
her nose
gosh.
into a rival store's ice cream.
A rival store ice cream. So she owned an ice
Rival
cream store?
store's ice cream.
These
So
stories are so complicated. I
she-
feel like I can't even.
I know. There's a lot.
she owns a store that's right next to an ice cream store. It doesn't say that hers is an ice cream store.
Okay, I got you.
Hers is some kind of market, but
Right.
Yeah, and she tried to
anyways,
expand into ice cream, but they have soft serve.
I think
Right.
so.
She's like, what the H?
Yeah, so this woman, 66-year-old woman, was captured on surveillance
You don't
video.
want them boogies.
She was tampering with ice cream made by Lulu's Ice Cream Shop, where they make all their ice cream in shop, right? Which sounds delicious.
Sounds
What, they sponsor us or something?
Yeah, they might.
shout out.
I'm trying. But anyways, she put her hands into the organic ice cream containers.
Still organic.
And then a day later comes back and puts boogers in it.
How do they know she put boogers in it?
I mean, I would assume that they saw her digging for some.
Now, do you dig for those or do you?
No,
You
I
think you
don't.
blow?
That's gross.
Well, she stuck her hand in it specifically.
stories.
Yeah, yeah,
nasty.
that. But you think for the
It
second
is
round,
nasty.
you probably do a
she go to jail?
a pinch
She-
one nostril and blow.
She did a little bit more stuff, which I'll
Oh,
leave
come
out.
on, please.
But anyways, yes, she basically
Whoa.
ruined over $2,000 worth of ice cream. They had to close down. So I guess she got what she wanted, but she did go to jail and it was on like $50,000 bail.
So I learned tonight that ice cream costs way more than cat's blood.
Right.
I
It
mean,
really does.
She put some boogies in ice cream, $2,000.
Yeah, but you can get some good cat blood anywhere.
Would you have a good cat blood person?
Yeah, I do now.
does.
Who's your dealer?
He's got a skateboard.
He's got
We'll
4 vials.
Hey, fellas.
Hey, Josh.
So I got a letter here.
Okay.
We hear it.
This one says, guys, now that the plane thing is over,
Right.
I'm taking a lot of trips for work.
Okay.
I've had to sit between
Wait,
some weird.
what
No, no,
plane
no, no,
thing?
no, 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 no.
What plane thing?
Hold on. Time out. Are you telling the plane story?
Yeah, this is the person asking if we had plane stories.
I know.
stories.
I think you should do the doctor one.
Absolutely.
The doctor one.
You should definitely save the plane one and do the doctor one.
He is a young, cool doctor. He listens to the show.
That's okay.
Well, then shout him
There's
out.
no way I'm going to embarrass us both.
All right, listen,
We'll look
Dr.
him up on Yelp.
Dr. Cool Boy.
All right.
Listen to this story that happened to you
Okay. So,
on your favorite podcast.
all right, Doctor. I'm not even going to say his name.
Don't say his name.
All right. So, him and I, we were talking about my heart.
Okay.
Oh, so sweet.
So, yeah. And my fast pulse.
Let me hold your
Right.
letter for you.
No.
Oh, you
I
got
got
it?
it. I
Okay.
got it. And him and I believe he probably is on my brain wavelength
Okay.
because we don't stay on that topic for long. We
Right.
go philosophy. You know, we go like
At
John's.
the doctor's office?
Yeah, him and I just sit and chat, and I can hear like nurses like, "Is he still in there with that guy?"
He's not a shrink. He's like your
Oh,
general.
he's a real,
okay,
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Thanks for.
A real doctor?
Pediatrician.
Well, you said you
pediatrician.
get into philosophy. I'm just making sure.
No, him and I just chat away.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, talk about my favorite guy, Slavoj Žižek.
That's right.
Jeez.
That's right.
Okay.
We talk some politics. You
Okay.
know, now that the thing's coming up,
Right.
Right.
we're all over the map. Religion sometimes.
Okay.
Because he's got like this shelf, and it's just got a bunch of accoutrement on it.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, where'd that come from? And he's like, oh, that's alcohol bought from this voodoo priestess gypsy.
What
Right.
kind of doctor's office is this?
This
Not
is
a
like-
real one. It sounds.
It's,
like.
it's out of a house,
Oh, okay. That
but he's a
explains
real
lot.
dude.
I see what
Is
you're
this
saying.
human blood that he works on?
There's no blood in his
Okay,
office.
okay.
He's anti-blood.
Yeah.
So we kind of we're starting to wrap it up, right?
Right.
And let me tell you how And I can't wait to see him after he listens to this because he's going to be like, I can't believe you told that story.
Right.
So after this happened, I immediately ran outside and I typed it all out.
On your typewriter that you keep in your car.
Yes. On
Perfect.
my 1975 Schwinn.
Right.
They got into typewriters for a little bit. I don't know if you know that.
Right.
Typewriters.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll regurgitate it for you
just tell
now.
us the story.
Yeah, we're waiting.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
So he says something like, all right, do you have any other concerns?
Right. Because you're talking about your health.
Finally,
talking
about the doctor stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of struggling with salivation.
Right. Producing saliva.
Thank you. Producing saliva.
Right.
And at no fault of his own, does he assume I meant salvation? He is a smart guy. I'm a slurrer.
Slur,
Yeah, I run my words together. So at
Right.
no fault of your own doctor.
To clarify again, he's not a psychiatrist.
No, he's a
Okay.
heart doctor.
Okay.
I say salivation,
Yeah.
like
liquid in my mouth.
Right.
He thinks I said salvation.
Okay.
Like,
So you go,
So-
I'm having problems with my salivation. He hears,
Yes.
I'm having problems with my salvation.
and he says, you talk about a tricky topic. I'm not as educated in it on as I should be.
Right. Because you're a doctor, not a
'cause you're
priest.
doctor. Yeah.
Right, sure.
What are your concerns?
Yeah.
And naturally, I'm like, I just find it hard to swallow
Right.
because that's something that salivation would help with.
Right.
Exactly.
He says, because he's a doctor,
Yeah.
me and you both. Like, where does it come from originally? Like, is it earned? Is it gifted? Is it paid for?
Right.
And I'm like, now I'm kind of lost
Yeah.
because I'm like, I understand like I'm getting up there in age. Maybe
Right.
salivation doesn't happen as naturally.
Sure. And you got to
didn't
pay
realize-
for it. Someone's got to
You
pay
didn't
for
realize
it.
you had to earn your saliva.
So I'm like, I mean, I was actually hoping to produce it on my own. I would hate to have to purchase it because wouldn't that just be like someone else's?
Right.
And then, I mean, he sits there for a minute, like he's pondering this.
Right.
And I'm like,
He's a thoughtful doctor.
yeah, I'm like, this is salivation. This is like, what's there to think about?
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he's like, I mean, like, say you're right. It's either created from nothing, right? Or it's someone else's. And they've gone through the process to make it or to earn it.
Uh-huh.
Either way, is there like a stockpile somewhere? And wouldn't that just go out to everyone equally? And I'm like,
Well, so because you think because you know you're talking about slobber, you're like,
I'm talking about slobber.
is there a slobber factory somewhere that this doctor knows about that everybody's supposed to just get some?
Slobber.
Like, and why are they hoarding it?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, I don't know. I assume maybe it goes to those who need it most. Like, don't distribute slobber evenly.
My youth pastor told me it did.
Why does a kid need slobber?
Right.
He's probably still producing it. At my age, I need it most.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Right. So I'm like, I assume it goes out to the people that need it most. I mean, my real concern is that if I'm purchasing it or if I'm getting it, what's to say it's not expired?
Right.
Like, what good is salivation if it's expired?
Amen.
And he says, I think the Catholics believe it expires. And now I'm like,
Bro, we're talking. I mean, we're
Is this
talking about
where you
my
like
spit.
figured out?
no, I'm still lost.
Okay.
And he goes, I believe the Catholics think it expires, which is why they go to confession. Confession renews it somehow. And so I'm like, what?
You're like, it doesn't matter how dry my mouth gets. I'm not going back to church, bro.
Yeah, for real. Just I'll buy it. Bro.
Right.
I don't care. And I'm like, you think I can no longer produce it on my own?
Right.
You think it's too late?
Right.
And he's like, say you could produce it. How would you know if you did?
Right. Exactly.
And so I'm like, I don't know. I'd probably feel around for it. And he goes, where? Where would you feel around for it? And I'm like, in my mouth.
Right.
And at this time, door opens up, nurse enters, and she goes, doctor, did he mention his dry mouth? Do you want me to prescribe some xylitol gum for his dry mouth? We both share a glance, he says yes, and he gets up and walks out.
Oh no!
He doesn't even say anything.
No, absolutely not.
man.
This is going to be the first time he's confronted with hearing that I now know how awkward it was.
But listen, if you're listening right now, my doctor, dude,
Yeah.
how sweet of you, man.
What a sweet dude.
I mean, this
Right,
guy,
yeah.
Josh is in here because his heart's awful.
It's not awful. It's just beating a little faster
But
than
your
the next
doctor's
guys.
trying to get your heart in the right place.
Yeah,
He's trying to get
he
your
will.
heart right with the Lord.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to get your heart right,
with living every day.
Just living every day.
Exactly.
Getting it pumping properly.
Get that slobber going.
Get that slobber going.
I love it I love the idea, though, that for a brief moment you were like, that is a saliva factory somewhere.
There's a saliva.
And that you may be old enough to have to
Buy saliva.
to buy it, bro.
Do I want to use that type of saliva?
Is that covered under Obamacare? We don't know.
We don't know
Nobody
anymore.
knows. Dude.
Nobody knows.
That's great. John Archibald Wheeler was born July 9th, 1911 in Jacksonville, Florida.
Wow.
1911.
He might be alive still.
109 years
If he was
old.
still alive, Josh thinks he'd be 109
And also,
years old.
Archibald is a name that's not used so much anymore.
No. I wish
Not
it
any
was.
longer.
Is your kid solid with his name?
Archibald is his middle name.
Okay, I thought so.
That's it. John was the oldest of 4 children.
Yeah.
He had 2 younger brothers and a younger sister. But out of all of his siblings, he showed some favoritism towards his little brother, Joe.
Old Joe, huh?
Of course.
Joe was his bestie, his little brother, Joe. These two were virtually inseparable. And in fact, for the entirety of John's life, he insisted that everyone call him Johnny because that's what his little brother, Joe, called him.
Okay.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
Well, I mean, Johnny's a normal name for a guy named John.
It's not a stretch, yeah,
it's
but
not like Rango.
exactly.
Yeah,
We're
call
going to
me
honor him.
Archibald.
So the thing about Johnny Archibald Wheeler is that he was incredibly intelligent.
Right.
Really smart.
I get it.
He and his siblings were raised in a home where education was the highest priority.
Mm-hmm.
And both of Johnny's parents were highly educated people. And from their point of view, success in life was closely tied to education.
And we could probably assume that this education happened in a traditional classroom setting,
Right.
In the
not with
19...
virtual ankle monitors.
That's, yep.
Right. They didn't
Okay.
have that capability in 1911.
You're right. Smart guy.
So fortunately for Johnny, not only was he naturally smart, but he also had a family that basically put intelligence at the forefront of their values.
Okay.
So to clarify, they weren't wealthy people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't want to give the impression that they had all this
no,
money
no.
or wealth. They were just extremely intelligent, and they thought that was like their family's focus.
Yeah.
Like let's hammer
like,
that.
Like your family's focus was fighting,
Exactly.
My family's focus was gardening.
gardening,
Your family focus was money.
money.
Right. So Johnny starts showing an interest in science around middle school.
Yep.
And it wasn't like he was turning in like amazing projects or anything, but
Okay.
he was the one that was always asking for like extra reading.
Oof.
He wanted more
Nerve.
work. He was the kid who would come to class early and stay late just to obtain like some more knowledge. Like that's
He's
what
the
he
kid
wanted.
other kids hate.
For sure. He wasn't hanging out with the teachers because he didn't have any friends.
Yeah.
He was hanging out with the teachers because he wanted more work.
We get it.
Yeah.
I mean, overachiever much.
Yeah. for
Exactly. So he was fascinated by things that were kind of above his head, things that were kind of like out of his, pay
Ceiling
grade.
fans.
Right, mountaintops,
Clouds, mountaintops.
chemical compounds.
Yeah. Sure.
So Johnny Johnny graduated from high school with honors in 1926.
Okay.
And he accepted an invitation to Johns Hopkins University to attend on a full scholarship.
Okay.
Ooh, I didn't get that invitation.
Well, no, and it's a huge accomplishment on its own. But at Johns Hopkins, he studied all things science, chemistry, biology. That was like his passion.
Yep.
And he excelled in every area. And he even took his career a step further by publishing his first scientific paper in 1930.
Nerd, am I right?
God,
I
for
know.
real.
So
Who's
before this
reading
guy
that?
even graduated college, he had published his first academic paper. The reason why that's so big
That's impressive.
is because while he was still attending the university, there were students at the university being assigned work from his academic studies.
Okay. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kinda
Actually,
crazy.
That's impressive.
So he goes on to obtain his doctorate in 1933, and his academic research was so widely accepted amongst scientific communities
Yeah.
that he was given a National Research Council fellowship.
Now, to stop this in its tracks,
Sure.
Right.
Wayne has given us a lot of home Floridians that have turned into scientists and invented really cool things.
Exactly.
The AC guy.
Yes.
Right. Sunscreen.
Yep.
Sunscreen.
Guy.
Gatorade.
Gatorade. And
Right.
yeah. I don't know what else is left on the table, though.
We're getting
To
there.
be impressed. Yeah.
To be impressed.
It's going to be pretty hard.
So he was given a National Research Council fellowship.
Okay.
To put that in perspective, that's usually reserved for older people.
He's 22.
Yeah, right. So
guy.
people who have been in the field for decades, people who are like retired professors.
Yeah.
Johnny Archibald Wheeler was given his Natural Research Council fellowship at the age of 22.
What?
So
This
Boom,
guy.
baby.
he
Math.
gets invited to continue his research at New York University.
Okay.
And by the time he gets there, his reputation's preceded him.
Oh, yeah.
People are talking about this
you know
guy.
that guy's coming.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here comes the smartest guy
Because
around.
you used to be top of the class, and then you're like, there's a chance Johnny Archibald is coming.
Well, that's what's crazy. He's like this, like kind of, down home country guy from Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's not from anywhere that you would consider to be prestigious. I mean, like it's,
Yeah.
but around this time, when he's at New York University, he receives a letter from world-renowned scientist Niels Bohr. Okay.
Heard the
And when he
name.
gets this letter, he thinks it's going to be an invitation to study under Niels Bohr, which is a huge honor.
Yeah.
He's freaking out. He's excited. This is like a hero to him.
Yes.
What it actually was an invite to help Niels Bohr
Wow.
Okay.
complete his studies on the subject of splitting matter and forming electron-positron pairs.
I knew I recognized it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
that Niels
that
Bohr.
Niels
That
Bohr.
Niels
Right,
Bohr.
okay.
Is it the guy creating the boring device?
Right.
Or the
And you both have Niels Bohr t-shirts.
Right.
Yes, we
Right.
do.
But mine is a musician one.
Right.
I mixed them up.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
band Niels
and
Bohr.
Josh's is Niels Bohr ham.
Yeah, Niels Bohr and the Bangers, I think.
Right.
is
Yeah,
yours.
exactly.
So the world-renowned expert on splitting matter calls up Florida man Johnny Wheeler and is like, hey, I need your help on this. Can you help me?
What could this guy need help with?
Exactly.
Okay.
I think with science, like you get to a point where you're just like, I don't know where to go from here.
I need fresh
Your
eyes.
chalkboard's all full of equations
When I'm
already.
the expert, who do I go to?
Wayne.
Oh, okay.
And then I go to Cameron.
Right.
Okay.
And then Cameron goes
Nowhere.
to your doctor
The freaking moon.
to get spiritual advice. So basically, Niels Bohr, this work with him really begins to open doors for Johnny.
Yeah.
His reputation's growing to the point where people all over the world are saying that Johnny is a direct contemporary of a fella called Albert Einstein.
Oh my
What?
gosh, please. Just
Okay.
If you get that status,
You're
like,
in the
you
same
know-
canoe as Albert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So in 1937, at the age of 26, Johnny
Oh my
Wheeler
gosh.
is publishing an academic paper every 8 months.
What?
And that's the compliment he really liked. This guy's in the same canoe as Albert Einstein.
yeah,
That's a new sentence.
I was going to ignore that, but like that.
No one's ever said it.
Do you think I'm in the same canoe?
Not quite.
Albert Einstein?
You're in the canoe behind it. You're almost there. So basically, at this point, there's textbooks all over the world featuring this guy's research in the 1930s. He accepts a job as a professor at Princeton University.
Okay.
And
No big deal.
During his time, he's making breakthrough after breakthrough in the community. And Johnny, he comes alongside a scientist called Werner Heisenberg, and he begins to develop brand new theories and advancements in quantum physics.
Jeez.
One of my favorite. Yeah.
Now we're getting
topics.
into my field.
Yeah.
Right.
If
Big-
I want to
big
fall
brain
asleep,
stuff.
yeah. If I want to fall asleep, that's the book I put on.
Right, quantum physics.
Sure.
Yeah. So his academic career is moving at a record-setting pace,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, it all comes to a halt in 1939 because Germany has invaded Poland, marking the beginning of World War II in Europe.
Right.
Yikers.
Exactly.
It's a big deal, and this
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a pretty. I mean, you ever heard of it?
Just casually.
Yeah,
It's kind of a big deal.
it's a big event.
Listeners, if you didn't know,
World War II.
it's a big deal. It's kind of a big deal.
So basically, this slowed down things for Johnny Wheeler for the next few years, but for a couple of reasons. Number one,
So he didn't enlist.
no, most of his
Oh,
peers
yes.
lived in Europe.
Uh-oh.
So the guys he's studying with, he's researching with,
True.
they're all like from Germany, Poland, whatever.
That's a little awkward.
I know,
At the
and-
science table.
And it's
Yes,
a
it is.
battleground at this point. So they're not focused on like studying science and making breakthroughs. They're trying to survive.
Yeah,
Right.
it's difficult.
Right. So the other reason why it distracted Johnny was because his little brother Joseph, the one he's the closest to, joins the army and goes overseas.
Joseph is why Johnny goes by Johnny.
Exactly. Which is a pretty big deal.
It's not as big deal as World War II.
Close.
But pretty huge.
Right. So naturally, this makes it difficult for Johnny to focus. His little brother is now overseas.
Yeah.
He's worried about his safety. He's still an acting professor at Princeton. But he's just not making any more breakthroughs. He's not working at the same pace.
It's hard to
It's
focus
difficult,
on
right?
breakthroughs.
But at around this time, the bombing of Pearl Harbor happens, and Johnny receives a letter in the mail, and it's from a guy called Arthur Compton. And this letter states that there's a meeting that's being held in secret at the University of Chicago.
Right.
Okay.
And he wants to know if Johnny would be attending this meeting. Okay.
Oh, do you tell that guy, though?
I don't think you can pass up a secret meeting.
I go to him all the time.
Do you?
If someone sends me a letter in the mail, there's a secret meeting at this place, I go to it.
Okay.
Usually,
But you do that all the time.
Usually, I regret it
all the time.
all the time. So obviously, he's curious, like myself.
Yeah.
He decides to go, and he's like, you know what? Worst case scenario, it'll get my mind off of things.
Hold on.
No, worst. That's not the worst case scenario.
Right.
Yeah, worst case, you die. Is that why you were at Sonic at 11 p.m. last Tuesday night?
And when he drove by, I'm like, shh.
I'm like, why are you sitting alone?
He's like, hey, Wayne. So basically, he heads off to Chicago, and the secret meeting's being held in a basement at the University of Chicago.
Okay.
Jesus.
And when Johnny walks in, present at this meeting are the leaders of the United States Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
And they tell Johnny that they're putting together a team of scientists to work on a project called the Manhattan Project.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Kind of a big deal.
The goal of the Manhattan Project is to help the United States in the war in Europe as quickly as possible by developing a nuclear weapon.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously there's some hesitation on Johnny's part because he's like, this is kind of a big deal. So they had told Johnny, look, hey, man, take a couple days to think about it.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
And so Johnny, he consults with the scientists who are present at the meeting, and he's like, look, if we do this, there's no going back.
Yeah.
And that's the constant struggle. If we're successful, we can end the war and theoretically save American lives.
But now the tech is out there.
But also, it's opening Pandora's box. It's out there now. You can't put it back in the box. So ultimately,
I think at this point, they called it Pandora's boombox.
They did. Back then.
Back then,
so
they did.
ultimately, what pushed Johnny over the edge was he receives a letter from his little brother Joseph, who's serving on the front lines in battle in Europe.
Yep.
And the letter says to Joseph, "You're the smartest guy I know, one of the smartest people the world has ever seen. If you have it within your power, please find a way to bring me home."
Oh my gosh!
So he didn't know anything about the secret meeting.
He had no idea. He's just telling Johnny.
Secret.
He just telling Johnny, like, I'm scared, man. Like, you're my big brother. Find a way to get me home. You're well connected. You know Albert Einstein. You guys canoe together.
Right.
Like, so
if you have any like secret meetings with technology,
can you put a good word in for me? I'll come be an intern. So basically, that's all the push Johnny Wheeler needed. He accepts the position on the Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
And months later, he and a team of scientists create the world's first atomic bomb.
So scary, though.
So scary.
Insane.
How do you test that out?
Just
like, is this going to be an atomic
ocean,
bomb?
dude?
We're like pretty sure it is. Dude. Yeah. So although the process was quick, unfortunately, it wasn't quick enough to save Johnny's little brother.
No.
In fact, Joseph had died on the front lines before the letter even arrived.
That's
to
so
Johnny.
sad.
So
It's
obviously, it's
sickening.
heartbreaking, and just to help, basically, he just helped develop the world like changing weapon, right?
Absolutely.
All in an attempt to save his brother, and his brother had passed away before the letter even got there.
Jeez.
So Johnny Wheeler carries this guilt with him for the rest of his life, and he even pivots his career in a way that seemed like he was trying to undo some of the things he had done.
How?
He actually spent 20 years on the Presidential Board of Denuclearization, basically trying to round up and disarm weapons that he helped create.
I mean, he really tried to reverse. Like,
I mean,
the exact
after
thing.
seeing like what that thing that they created could do, like that would be like terrifying,
Right.
Like, for all of them. I'm
Sure.
sure. I mean, just like to see the amount of destruction it does, like instantly. I mean,
well, like
it's
what
scary.
Josh said, he was trying to reverse what he did.
Yeah.
And he actually took it a step further.
Oof.
So, in the latter part of his life, he was focused solely on the space-time continuum
Oh, my
What?
God.
and the manipulation of gravity.
Now we're talking my
Okay.
my
right.
field.
Yeah.
These are the books you read to stay awake.
That's right. That's right.
So he discovered so many advancements in this area that he was actually chosen by his
gosh.
peers to continue Albert Einstein's work on the theory of relativity.
Okay.
Yes.
John Archibald Wheeler was quoted towards the end of his life
Yep.
as saying that he believed that time travel was absolutely possible.
I knew I recognized the name from my space-time continuum audio books.
There were particles and ions that he discovered that were actually moving backwards in time.
Yeah.
What?
So before he passed away, he says time travel is possible.
Oh,
But,
God.
I believe it.
but unfortunately, on April 13th, 2008,
What?
at the age of
he could almost be lying.
96,
He knew it.
he did pass away. The thing is, his published works are legendary. They're included in just about everyone's textbooks these days.
Yeah.
But most of it's really complicated stuff, right? It's stuff that only Josh understands. Like it's
Thank
over
you.
Cameron and I's head.
Appreciate that.
But just a fun fact about Johnny Wheeler, he's actually responsible for coining a phrase that the average person may know.
Okay.
One day while giving a speech about mysterious deep space objects at NASA,
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want me to complete this?
he was giving a speech at NASA.
Okay.
And he was discussing a strange phenomenon that happens in space when gravity completely collapses on an object.
Yeah.
And he said there's a spot in the center where the object used to be that's just nothingness. Like we don't know what it is. We don't know what to call it. Someone in the audience yells out and says, "How about you call it a black hole?"
Jeez. Okay.
To which Johnny Wheeler replies,
heckler.
Johnny goes,
heckler.
"No, that's it."
What?
And then from that point forward, every time he spoke, he would refer to it as a black hole. And
Well,
it
he
began
would
to
have that same heckler go, "Why don't you call it a black hole?"
he was planted. Yeah, he was a plant. But basically, it spread through the community, and that's how that term was founded. It was
Wow.
coined by Johnny Archibald Wheeler,
Well, technically by the heckler.
The heckler.
the unknown heckler. Like, who was that guy? But in many ways, this guy's just an incredible Florida man. And once again, we learned about people from our state just doing extraordinary things. So, like
Yeah.
Josh said, somebody invented sunscreen
Yes.
from Florida.
I think
Air
that was a
conditioner.
bigger deal than
Florida.
sunscreen.
Atom bomb, Florida.
Jeez.
I mean,
It's up there with Gatorade.
Yeah.
to be fair, the people who invented those things did it by themselves. This guy had a team. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
you know what I
right.
mean? But goodness
He's
gracious.
1/6.
He probably just wrote the stuff on the chalkboard.
It was
You
a-
always have that one guy that just writes things. Like
Right.
And
everybody
then
tells him
Goodwill
what to write.
Hunting showed up, and he's like, "I can solve this."
Exactly.
Can you agree it was an explosive story?
Come
Yeah.
on, bro.
I'm
It was
sorry.
Boom.
It's too soon.
I really thought it was
It
going to
was
be.
bombastic.
I really hoped it was going to be a canoe story, but maybe next week.
I'm not sure why I even said that.
I don't know either, but
He
I mean, you
loves
sounded
buoyancy.
like it, like you nailed it.
He's in
though.
the same canoe as Albert Einstein.
Was that in your notes?
No, I promise it wasn't. That's
I mean,
just
that's a great
freestyle.
term, though.
Yeah.
Listen, patreon.com.
Please, if someone has a painting of Albert Einstein and this guy in the same canoe, I'll pay
That's
for
on
it.
you, brother. You got to paint that.
All right,
That's on the... Sign up for Patreon.com.
That'll be on Patreon this
for
week.
Moffin
See
Podcast.
the art. I will make
Josh
the
will
art.
draw Albert Einstein in a canoe for you.
I'll
with
probably
arch
get
bowl.
it tattooed if I'm honest.
Come on. Listen, we appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah.
If you want to hang out with us online, FromOffem.com.
Like these friends here.
Yes,
Hey,
we're
friends.
live streaming right now. Patreon subscribers. Some of them watch live.
Waves
If you
with
sign
both
up, you
hands.
can watch it all throughout the week through our archival process.
Yeah.
Right. Retroactively.
Retroactively.
Could you guess how many times I watch it?
radioactively.
Can y'all guess how
jeez.
many times I watch it?
No.
The live stream? You watch yourself on live stream
Oh yeah.
while you're
I'm
in the
like,
bathtub? That's gross, dude.
Is it gross?
I
though?
don't know.
I don't think it's gross.
Twitter and Instagram is FMOFM Podcast, FMOFM Podcast.
Yep.
On Facebook, it's Florida Men on Florida Man Podcast. As soon as this taping is done, we're actually going live on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
So you're going to want to
Yes.
follow us over there. We do a lot of extra bonus stuff as well. We love
But
you guys.
Some of the same jokes.
Sometimes.
Some of the same jokes.
It's rare. It's like 1%. The canoe joke's going to be in
Very different laughs.
it. Very
Right.
different laughs.
We love you guys. We'll see you next time.